Good night, baby. Okay, I love you.
Good night, Nova.
Okay.
So Sodom Gomorrah.
Yes. Nice. Welcome back to Pizza Podcast.
Copycat.
Christian and Johnny. Abraham Part 2. I love that sound. So, in Part 1, Abram becomes Abraham. And in Part 2, we add ham to our pizza. Because Abram did the same thing. So this is a ham, bacon, pineapple pizza with crushed red pepper. It's golden and it looks amazing. But I also have another special treat for you to try today.
Show me. Tell me.
Sabrina went and she went to get some like little things for Nolan. And she found pizza puffs. Veggie style. So I figured we can have these with our pizza.
Sure.
These are Sensible Portions Garden Veggie Puffs, pizza flavored. So Nolan loves the regular ones.
Not a paid.
Not a paid advertisement.
Yeah.
This one's pro bono. Here, try one. Let's see, dude. If these taste better than my pizza, I'm gonna be so mad.
Very good.
Are they?
Yeah. Especially, I imagine if you have more and more and more, it's like, okay,
These are pretty good. Darn it.
this is freaking hot.
Well, yeah, it just came out of the oven. Dang, these really are good.
Okay, so what happens with Sodom and Gomorrah? That's where we left off.
Well, that's where we left off with part 1.
Yeah.
Abraham was bartering with God, trying to talk him down to say, if you find 50 righteous people, are you going to destroy the whole town? And God's like, no, not for 50. What about 45? What about 40? What about 30? What about 20? What about 10?
He said yeah to each
and
time.
Then, yeah. And then God was just like, all right, dude, I'm done bartering, okay?
Yeah, kind of.
And then he left. So one of the things I found when I was reading through this, so we picked up on Sodom and Gomorrah is Genesis chapter 19.
Mm-hmm.
So in like verse 1, it says the 2 angels arrived at Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gateway of the city. So remember, in the previous chapter, we were saying 3 people were...
And so chapters are something we added. This is a continuous story.
Right. Yeah. But...
It's like in context.
So, when we were talking before about the three men that appeared to Abraham when he was at his tent, after reading that, where it says that, because after that it says 2 of the men walked away, and then the Lord stayed with Abraham. And then chapter.
Well, it didn't say
19,
2 went away. It said the men went away. Or
it said 2. Well, I'm pretty sure it said 2.
I don't think it did.
Oh,
because it says 2 when
the men got up to leave, they looked down towards Sodom. Abraham walked along. Then the Lord said, "Shall I hide?" Blah blah blah. For I've chosen. Outcry. The men turned away and went towards Sodom.
So the men go.
But Abraham remained standing before the Lord.
So no specific numbers there.
No specific numbers. However, it says the 2 angels arrived at Sodom in the evening. So they were angels. So
They were messengers.
Hence angels.
Okay.
Angels are messengers. Angel, I think, means messenger if you look it up. So, and they were there to tell Abraham, bro, we're going to destroy the city. So, message delivered. Right?
And then the 2 go. So, you think there's only 3, or are you still thinking there's 4 total?
I think there was 3 now. I think the Lord was one of them, and I think 2 of them were angels, and God sent them to go confirm what he heard as far as the outcries of the city were so bad. And then, before we get into the story, I think it's only right that we kind of warn our listeners that this section of Abraham's life gets a little dicey. So
is Sodom and Gomorrah not saved?
No, I don't think it is. But I would say listener and viewer discretion is advised for this part. So you've been warned. But hey, it's in the Bible, so
You've been warned.
It's in the Bible. But there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that's...
Yeah, kids. So read chapter 19.
Yeah, read it on your own.
And 38 while you're at it. Just back to back.
So these two angels, they go to Sodom in the evening. Lot was sitting at the gateway of the city. Why? Because he lived nearby. He didn't live in the city.
Yeah.
Why would he be sitting at the gate?
I don't know. But I did notice that things seem... so like it's like Abraham's at like the opening of his tent. Lot's at the gate. And then they both show hospitality, I think slightly different ways. So it's like it's showing that they're both like... It's introducing them in similar ways and showing there's like, oh, okay, Lot. Maybe Lot is also righteous. And that's what I think.
It shows they're both loitering, is what it shows.
Well, not Abraham. He's in his own tent. Or can you loiter in your own tent? What is the definition of loiter? It's like you're just hanging around?
I think it's just hanging out. But is it hanging out where you're not supposed to be? Or is it just hanging out in general and you can loiter in your own house? You can loiter in
your house. I don't know.
Can you loiter in your own house? I don't know. That's the question.
Yeah, so he's at the gate.
He's at the gate. He sees the angels. And then he asks them to come stay the night with him. Right? Stay at my house. You know, I insist.
It's also interesting. When he greets these angels, he says like similar words. Like he's like, oh, my lords, or whatever. But lords here is like not capitalized. When Abraham says it, with God being of the three, I believe, it's like a capital Lord to show like it's God.
Yeah. Chapter 18, verse 1. Yeah. The Lord, capital L, appeared to Abraham.
Not that part. It's when Abraham says like...
Well, that's when he appeared. He looked up and he saw the three men.
And then he says like, oh, my lords, and like bows down. But it's like capital Lord.
If I have found favor in your eyes, my Lord, do not pass your servant by. That's lowercase l.
No.
So this is my Bible.
When he greets him.
That's a capital L. That's the one where I read, verse 18 verse 1.
That's not when he greets him. Verse 3. He said, oh Lord, if I found favor in your sight.
Yeah, your L is capital?
Yeah.
Mine isn't.
In 3? Oh, wow.
Oh, there's a something. So get this, lowercase l, and then it has a little d. You go down to the subtext here, little d,
uppercase,
or Lord, capital L.
That's insane.
Why?
Yeah, that's insane.
Why make me index it? Like, just give it to me straight, man.
Yeah. I got the ESV, the one you listen to.
I don't know. They don't tell you capital L.
Yeah, when you listen to it.
Audiobook. So anyway,
that was another point I was going to make. If you're still like, oh, those are not a part of the. He's not a part of the three. I'm like, yes, he is. He says, "Oh Lord, capital."
Yeah, and now it's capital. In my index subtext, paragraph 3, section 2, you can see the little footnote here.
It might be God
or Lord, capital L. Like, yeah. I'm gonna have to retire this one. I don't know. I want a Bible that gives it to me straight.
Yeah.
Although I do love this one.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, in verse 2, my lords, he said, please turn aside to your servant's house. You can wash your feet and spend the night and then go on your way early in the morning. Here's something that I caught, and I don't know. I guess it's just something to think about. No, they answered, we will spend the night in the square. Okay? So remember that. Because as we get further along in the story, that's going to come back into play.
Or are they spending the night in the square because they're checking out the place, right?
I think so. Like they were going to go down to the middle. Like the square would be like Times Square, right? The center, the heart of it all, where all the action is.
Yeah, they gotta check out.
So they were going to check it out.
Yeah.
The good news is that they didn't have to do much to check out how bad the city was.
It's bad?
It's pretty bad, at least from my perspective. So then it says, he insisted so strongly that they went with him and entered his house. What would you have to say to convince two angels to change their mind and come stay at your house? Like, how would you approach that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it like Ace Ventura? He's just on his knees groveling, like, please.
We got to, yeah.
You gotta come stay with me. You got to. And they're like, God, all right, fine.
Yeah, they just give in.
Or was he just like, no, come on. Like, I have good food. I'll make you some homemade bread. I got pizza. I'll throw a zod in the oven.
He's probably pleading, I think. And they just like, fine.
What if he was like, I got a pizza. I'll throw some figs on it. Some ricotta. And they were like, oh, sold.
Maybe.
That would sell me. If I was an angel, it'd be like... But then... Going into that, okay, so they go to his house, great. Then he makes them a food. He prepared a meal for them, baking bread without yeast, and they ate. Do angels need to eat? Did they eat out of necessity or courtesy?
Bro, I don't know.
Because I didn't think angels needed to eat.
Because it's wild to me about, you just think of Jesus and all the power he could have had or had, on earth. He gets hungry and stuff. I think I just mentioned that before.
Yeah, but that's when he was here as a human on earth.
Yeah.
The angels are like temporary, right? They're just here to... Or were they people living on earth too? Were they Nephilim?
They're just messenger. I don't know.
Were they Nephilim messengers? Nephil angels?
I don't know. See, I don't know what the Nephilim... I kind of view the Nephilim as not the greatest.
Why would they eat? Like, I don't understand. And they ate at Abraham's tent, too. Mm-hmm. So, like, they just eat a lot.
Well, you eat multiple meals a day.
And then if they...
Because that was like lunch, and now this is dinner. I'm pretty sure. It was a heated day.
Well, they got there in the evening.
Yeah, heated day for Abraham.
Yeah, so they walked quite a bit, got there at night, and they were hungry. So I get it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what tempted them. They were like, no, we're just going to go to the square. But yeah, but I'll give you food. You know what? I am pretty hungry.
You did walk a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But then if they're angels... Is there food in heaven? Do they eat in heaven? And how is that food compared to earthly food?
Those are great questions.
How is that food compared to earthly food? Do you think it's like better? And they're like, oh yes, we're going to earth, we're going to eat. Or they eat and they're like, oh my gosh, this is dog food. I'm going to have to... I miss our heavenly food.
Or is it just similar?
No possible way.
There's just no there's no tree of...
Our man-made processed nonsense is comparable to food in heaven.
Well, they don't have man-processed stuff in this day.
Sure they do.
Allowed to go into Walmart.
They didn't have a Walmart. They had a Big Lots.
That's worse.
It's worse.
They have food at Big Lots? No.
Not fresh food.
They have like candy bars, right? They can't. Oh, they do. They do. They do.
Oh, it's so good. Need sponsorship.
We got a big boy tonight.
I did. One was 20-ouncer. But yeah, I was thinking about why the angels eat and how it compares. Like, do they eat in heaven? Is there food in heaven? How would that compare to our food? Mm-hmm. Do they look forward to it? Like, oh yeah.
I think so.
Like, bring me back some French fries. And the other angels are like, all right, yeah. They get a to-go container. That's the way I like to think of it. Yeah. It's probably completely off, but...
I think there's food.
It makes me feel
Why
better.
wouldn't there be food? I don't know.
But why would they need to eat? Don't they have spiritual bodies?
For fun. I don't know.
Well, I guess in human form they would need to eat, because that's just how flesh works.
Mm-hmm. True.
But anyway, I thought that was just
it is
different, right?
For sure.
So then, here's the fun part. Before they had gone to bed, all the men from every part of the city of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house.
Every man.
Every man, young to old, from the whole city.
From how young?
It doesn't say.
When does a man start?
What age would you define as young? I would say like...
It could be like 13, 12.
I would say young is like when... I don't want to incorporate anybody younger than 10 in this. It hurts my head.
12 hurts my head too, but...
Well, I know, but... Young. Let's just say young adult, 18. Mm-hmm. For the sake of our sanity.
Well, it does say male, too. I was going to say it says man, but I think it says male, right?
All the men from every part of the city. What's your Bible say? In verse 4. Chapter 19, verse 4.
Okay, it says men. Wait. Men. Yeah, it says men.
Okay.
So men probably has a certain definitive.
A young man, 18. Let's just say that. Although back then men were like 14.
I'm thinking traditional, yeah. It could even like 12.
Oh gosh.
I know.
Okay, well, all the men from every part of the city of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house. They called to Lot, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we can have sex with them."
You're supposed to have sex with them?
So does yours.
I think mine said know them. They just wanted to get to know them.
In the biblical sense.
Oh no, I got pizza on my Bible. I really did.
Oh no. Yeah, no, mine clearly says it. Check check your index subtext. So we can know them.
Where the young men came tonight, bring them out. Yeah, bring them out to us so that we may know them.
That means have sex with them.
Like, hey, how are you guys? Like,
no.
No?
Mm-mm. That's why it's disturbing.
Oh, wow.
Bring them out to us so that we can have sex with them. That is how...
That really is sad.
That is how messed up that city was.
Well, I'm sorry about how sad it is to get pizza grease in the Bible. I'm kind of torn up about that. Dang it. Sorry, where were we?
Why sex? Like, out of all the things that you can do wicked to somebody that's new, I just don't understand why they would go right there.
Immediately.
And we're talking about men on men here.
And every single man.
Every man around the city, young to old, surrounded the house.
She got other 170-year-olds out there.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Surrounded the house. So, I mean, how many people would it take to surround the house? You're talking probably, I don't know how big Sodom was, but I would say at least a few hundred people.
Probably more. And
to ask to bring them out so we can have sex with them.
There's two guys.
Just two guys.
For all of us.
I don't understand it. Why?
Even the old guys.
Were they like they really good-looking angels?
Had to be.
They attracted. They were like Sarah, but like
yeah, I wouldn't even think it. Like
version.
I already knew they looked good. That's not even a question. Obviously,
they were the dude version of Sarah.
Yeah, probably looked better, honestly, but
it blows my mind. That's why it's hard to wrap your head around this.
Mm-hmm.
So then Lot, being the gracious host that he is, says, "Please don't do this to these guys. How about instead I send out my 2 virgin daughters and you can do whatever you want with them instead."
That's insane.
That, like, when I read that...
This is in the Bible?
This is in the Bible. Chapter 19. Verse 6. Lot went outside to meet them, shut the door behind him and said, "No, my friends, don't do this wicked thing. Look, I have 2 daughters who have never slept with a man. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do what you like with them, but don't do anything to these men, for they have come under the protection of my roof." Were his daughters not under the protection of his roof? Like,
that's insane.
It's hard to wrap my head around this.
Yeah.
And it boils my blood because, like, as a father of a daughter, there is no way ever I would take that whole city down personally before they even got close to them.
Yeah.
And he's like,
honestly,
no.
there are that many people out there.
He's like, no, I got 2 strangers in my house. They're under the protection of my roof. Here, take my virgin daughters. Like
it's a little dark, but if I'm in that position, grabbing probably a gun. This is dark.
They didn't have a gun back then, dude.
Oh, I forgot.
Slingshot,
In
sword.
my position now, sword, taking my daughters. We're praying. I'm telling them sorry. Those guys bust through the door. I'm sorry. You gotta go. Like we gotta get out of here.
You talking about?
We gotta. That's the only way
You talking
out.
about off on your whole family and yourself.
That's the only way I
you
can
let them
see
get
out.
you?
Yeah. That's the only thing I can see. Because I can't go out fighting everyone. I can try. That's very noble.
You would lose.
It's very
and
noble.
You'd probably have to watch.
Yeah.
The roughness stuff happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is not a fun podcast anymore.
no, I told you. Listener discretion is advised. You've been warned. I told you.
Wow.
But hey, this isn't a Bible. This is real stuff. It happened.
Yeah.
We're talking about it. So,
Did these
Lot was
daughters
pretty-
have other love interests that could help out in this fight?
oh, they did.
So
Did you ask because you were trying to like segue into that, or did you ask because you genuinely didn't know? Because it was a perfect question.
I just didn't want to forget to ask. Are they hearing Lot say this and be like,
that
"Oh,
was
that's
one of the
fine"?
questions I had because
Yeah, they're like, "Oh yeah, Lot, good idea, bro."
both.
What?
Well, we'll get to that, but yes, both of these daughters have fiancés that were not in the house at the time. I don't know if they were outside.
I thought they were.
They weren't in the house. They were outside. But I don't know if they were with... We'll get to it. We'll get to it. But I don't know if they were with the crowd or if they were minding their own business. But it says all the men. So... all the men means all the men.
Oh my
Bro,
gosh.
we're spending more time on this because this chapter
It's insane.
It's nuts.
That's crazy.
So, Lot went outside though. Like, think about this. The whole town surrounds your house, says, bring out these men so we can have sex with them. Lot feels comfortable enough to exit his house into this crowd and say, no, my friends, and like address them as friends. How did he get to that relationship level with them? He wasn't even part of that town. Like, he lived outside, but...
I thought he lived in Sodom.
Well, he was sitting out by the gate. It said he lived near Sodom. So, I don't know.
Because when he left, he went to Sodom when they split. Abraham and Lot.
He went near Sodom. It was like outside of Sodom. He didn't live in Sodom, from my understanding. But the fact that he felt comfortable enough to go outside... Did these men already do this to him to where he was like, okay, yeah, you know, like think about it. What would make you feel that comfortable to go outside in front of this massive crowd of people who is trying to, nothing unless you know they're not going to do anything to you because they've already done everything they wanted to. Or you had
So if that happens, you're going to be comfortable?
There's nothing else you could do. There's nothing else they can do. They're over it, right? I think it's like a initiation, like a rite of passage to be in Sodom or something. I mean, that's why you call it sodomy.
What's that mean?
Different podcast.
Okay.
I'd say look it up, but I don't want you to look it up because you're not going to like what you see. Oh, man.
Oh, that wasn't Red Bull. I don't know if I could have held that in. It gave me extra strength to not want to lose that.
I know. It's so good. So, like, what point would you be so comfortable to walk out in front of these guys and say, hey, friends, these guys are obviously not friends.
Maybe he just wasn't as hot as the others.
I don't think they cared. I don't think looks were a big concern to people of that mindset when the entire city, young and old.
It's because they're that hot. All ages, all types. Like everyone has a type. These guys,
Are you trying to justify?
I'm just trying to say maybe Lot was ugly. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know, but was he part of their clique? Like, to the fact where did he ever participate in this stuff? I don't know.
Part of me doesn't think so, because then I don't think he would have been saved.
I don't know, but he felt comfortable enough, and then they start saying, hey, we're going to do to you worse than what we're going to do to them. And they start pushing him back.
Worse?
And then the two men, or the angels, crack open his door and pull him back in.
And blind.
And then and then it says that they blinded all of the men, young and old, that were around the house. So
is this like permanent blind? Well, I guess it doesn't matter.
So they couldn't see. It doesn't matter because it's temporary blindness.
Okay, yeah.
Very temporary.
Just as up. I know what happens.
It's very temporary blindness.
Well, I don't know if it's very temporary. Because then they don't leave right then. They still hey, they go to these other guys.
That's true. So this is what I was talking about to your question earlier. The men, this is verse 12, the two men, 11, they struck the men who were at the door of the house, young and old, with blindness, so they couldn't find the door. Like, how blind would you have to be to not find the door of the house you're right in front of? Was the door that, was
there's
it just
so
a
many
flat
people.
wall? Was there no door handle?
I think there's just that many people. So you're just a big mangled group of people. Dude, that would be crazy.
If you're standing in front of a house, you're out in my front yard, and I blind you.
And then the person behind you is blinded. They're freaking out, clawing. Half the people on the ground. No one knows what's going on.
I think you'd still be able to find the house. Like, throw a rock and listen to something.
You think all these crazed blind people are going to cooperate and find a door?
Hey, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know either.
It might even excite them to be blind. It might be like a new thing for them. They're that sick. They're like, oh, yeah, all right, now we can't see anything. Great. Like, these people are twisted, man.
Yeah.
But to not even be able to find the door, which is kind of cool, but still. So they.
How's that cool?
I love the power of God.
Yeah, that's cool.
The power of God.
It just seemed like specifically not to find the door is the cool part.
No, that was
the way it was worded.
That's fun to think about. Like, you're so blind you can't even find the door.
Was blind not blind? They didn't say.
No, there's like.
They didn't say he was 10% blind. They didn't say he was partially blind.
No, there's blind and then there's super blind.
I think there's blind and then there's partial blindness. I think blind is they're blind. They don't see a thing.
They couldn't find the door. That's super blind.
It's blind, yeah. I would say blind and super blind are probably the same thing. Are they not? God,
I guess.
Why do I have this weird feeling of feeling bad and not want to say anything about blind and super blind? Because I'm not blind, and if a blind person can hear this, is that, I don't know why, sometimes there's certain jokes, it's not bad, but.
It's not a joke.
It's
blind.
Yeah.
There is partial blindness, there's blindness, and then there's God-level blindness.
I don't understand the difference. Still, okay. Anyways.
The difference is it's God-level.
All right.
It's like...
It's crazy. It's cool.
It's blindness with disorientation.
I would think immediate blindness would come with it.
God-level.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
We're not on the same page. Okay.
So the two men, after they pull Lot back into the house and blind everybody else, they ask him if he has anyone else there, sons-in-law, sons or daughters, or anyone else in the city who belongs to them. Get them out of here because we're going to destroy this place. The outcry to the Lord against his people is so great he has sent us to destroy it. This is when Lot goes out. So in verse 14, so Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law. So he went out. So they weren't in the house. So they must have been out in the crowd.
Out there.
Yeah, they're out there blind. Who were pledged to marry his daughters. He said, hurry and get out of this place because the Lord's about to destroy the city. but they thought he was joking. So they didn't listen. And
I really think they were in the crowd now.
Them? They're not in the next chapter.
Yeah. I think they were in the crowd now. I didn't think that before, but I think they're in the crowd now.
I agree. Because it says all men.
So
imagine what their thoughts were.
I'm thinking
when their future father-in-law comes out.
I'm thinking they're too far in the crowd. He has to go out and find them. So maybe he didn't hear Lot. Because they weren't close enough to the door.
You wouldn't.
Because if they were close enough, they could have been like, "Hey Lot, yo, what's up? Can we just get inside? Come on, guys, come on."
I don't think so, because if they saw the whole city surrounding Lot's house and they knew that their wives were in there, bro, I'd be pushing forward like, "Hey,
they might not have known the house.
Guys, leave this house alone. My wife's in there."
Or if they're so far back, they don't even know the house. They're just hearing all the other guys. Oh yeah, dude, these guys are hot. You gotta see how hot these guys are. Like, yeah, okay.
But why would they be interested? They're pledged to marry.
That's how
women.
crazy they are. How wicked.
Yeah, but imagine if they were close enough to hear Lot, and Lot's like,
yeah,
"Hey, why don't I send out my 2 daughters?" And then they were like, "Oh, wait a minute, what?
We don't want them."
Yeah.
We do.
We want dudes. We want dudes.
We don't want them now. We do want them.
Yeah, trying to convince the crowd to not desire them at all.
Yeah.
Which apparently they didn't anyway. So
yeah, they
didn't
even think about it.
We want the dudes.
Yeah.
So, what a situation! There's so many shoes that you could stand in. You could be in Lot's shoes and picture that situation. You could be in these sons-in-law's shoes and listen to the father-in-law. You're not coming to the Christmas parties now, Dad. After this is over, we're not inviting the in-laws over anymore because you were just about to give our wives to the entire city to be defiled. It's crazy to think about. If you put yourself in their perspective,
I'm with you.
Oh, it's kind of frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of glad that they didn't believe a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So Lot tells them,
Do you think they're still blind? You think they're in the crowd, they're blind. Lot finds them, they're blind and oh, God's joking.
No, it says they struck the men who were at the door of the house with blindness so they couldn't find the door. So did the second row not help them?
Get out of the way. I can see the door.
Where's the door? It says at the door of the house.
Maybe they just kept striking every man that was near that. Okay, come near the door. Boom, blind.
Okay.
Boom, blind. Every time someone's
even
near the door.
Even worse than being in my front yard. If you're at my door and you're struck with God-level blindness, you can't find the door. You're at the door. Now you're blind. You don't know where the door is. That's God-level blindness. But it says he struck the men at the door. So I'm thinking
I think it's each time he was at the door.
Maybe the first, anyone who was on the porch. But everyone further back than that, could they not just be like, "Hey, the door's right there"? You couldn't help them?
I don't know. If I'm hit with blindness, I'm going to freak out.
But the people in the back weren't. Just the men at the door.
So everyone near the door is going to be freaked out. So then I think they switch and then probably blind again. The next set gets blinded. That's what I think. You didn't say that.
Blind. Let me try, blind.
So eventually they probably get the idea. I'm like, all right. If I'm going to get near the door, I'm probably not going to see.
You get people walking to the door backwards.
Like a mirror.
Yeah.
Was it Medusa?
Yeah. Yeah. So Lot tells them God's going to destroy the city. Get out. They don't believe him. So the angels tell Lot. Let's see.
They have to force Lot out because he lingers.
Yes. Okay, yeah, verse 15. With the coming of dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, "Hurry, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished." when he hesitated.
Yeah.
Why would you hesitate?
Mine even says lingers.
Yeah, why? Because he just went out and told his sons-in-law that God's going to destroy the city. They need to get out, but then he doesn't do it himself. I'm not a big fan of Lot, like at all. Yeah. I don't like his decisions. I don't like his thought process.
I don't like his name.
I don't even know why.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I don't like his name.
I don't either.
Nothing to do with anything, but it sucks.
Yeah, should have been called Little.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
It's frustrating. Mm-hmm. So, because he hesitates, the men grasped his hands and the hands of his wife and daughters.
The men or the angels?
They say men, but they mean the angels.
I think it's fun. Yeah, sure.
I know. the men of the city. The men of the city grabbed his hands.
Dude, I was confused for a second when there's certain parts where like the men talked and then the men did that. I was like, let me read that again. I was like, okay, these men are this man is this. Okay.
I know. In verse 1, it says the two angels arrived at Sodom, but then every other reference to them says the men.
Yeah.
So, thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
This brings me back to that point where when Lot said, come to my house, they said, no, we're going to go spend the night in the square. Mm. What would happen if they went to the square?
They'd blind everyone. They're fine.
The whole city would have just gone to them in the square and tried to have sex with them.
They're fine. They can handle themselves.
You think they would have just been like...
They can handle...
Everybody's blind.
Somehow they got out of there, right?
I know, but...
So, they can handle themselves.
But if they hadn't been behind Lot's house, it would have been a completely different story.
They might not have saved Lot, honestly. If they didn't save Lot's, they would have just wrecked the whole place.
You think so? Mm-hmm. You think because Lot pleaded with him? Wait, do you think they saved Lot because of Abraham? I thought
for Abraham, I think, but also because Lot.
Well, then Lot would have been saved regardless.
But Lot,
or no?
I don't think so. I think partially yes for Abraham, but then also partially because he still shows him hospitality. He's still like he doesn't want things to happen to the men. It's weird that the things with the daughter would allow, but.
If the men had gone to the square,
I think it would be like, okay, this place is bad.
The whole town would have come to have sex with them.
Yeah.
They would have probably used some godlike ability to
for sure
repel any
or did like a Superman like sonic boom fly out there. Yeah.
That would have been sick.
And then boom, rain down.
And then while they're flying away, they grab Lot's hand and his daughters and they fly him out.
Potentially, but I think
you think Lot would have been killed if they didn't stay at his house.
I kind of do.
Do you think maybe
like the men just were like, oh, this guy, he's not so bad. They got attached to him.
Do you think maybe like God told them to go ahead, stay at his house? Maybe like they were prompted by God to stay at his house because Abraham was...
Because then they would have.
Because God still didn't find 10 righteous people. Like Abraham talked them down to 10. There was 0. Like I would definitely not even say Lot was righteous. Lot was a scumbag, in my opinion.
Yeah.
True or not?
Oh, so remember we were talking about similarities?
Their
we're always talking, like I mentioned similarities of... whatever. So like Noah, they're gonna destroy the earth, but they save one guy and his family. They're gonna destroy the city. They save one guy and his family.
You think it's just
cool? It's like these things. It's like a cycle. It's like bad stuff happens. Let me do this. Well, let me do it.
Save one guy and his family. But Lot was not righteous.
Destroyed the earth. Destroyed the city. Yeah, I don't think he was. So I think he would have been gone if they didn't stay there. Honestly.
Wow. Do you think his spirit told him like that these angels need to stay at your house or you're going to die? Mm-hmm. Like why would he plead so hard that they agree?
I think it's part of probably his heritage and his
Or
family.
Do you think he knew what the city was going to do to these guys if he didn't bring them under the protection of his roof?
I think he mentioned like, oh, the square's no good. Did it not? It might not have.
No, he just said, "Come stay with me, my lords." So I think maybe he just knew, like, oh my gosh, there's two new strangers coming into the town. This is not going to be good for them.
Yeah.
Come stay with me. That's probably it. He probably, just knew.
He had an idea that
he knew
it's
that
not good
this
out there.
city is. So, I mean, in that regard, there is a little bit of.
I'm gonna give my daughter to some of these guys, but you shouldn't hang out with them.
Yeah, that if he didn't do
wild.
that, I'd be team Lot all day.
Yeah.
But you lost me, bro.
Yeah.
I can't.
I'm sure his daughters are like sweet, wholesome.
No,
No.
no, they're not. No. In verse 30, we talk about Lot and his daughters. They are not.
Same chapter.
Same chapter.
Oh God, dude, this chapter is wild.
Yeah. His daughters, be it as it may. I mean, I don't know what their personality is at the moment, but we'll get to that.
Okay, so they're leaving.
So
Sulfur and fire. Is that just
the
like?
men, hold on, the men take them by the hand.
Yeah, like, come
lead
on.
them out of the city.
Yeah.
Say, go to the mountains. Lot says, no, I don't want to go to the mountains. Can I go to like this small town?
other
The
city,
small town
yeah.
next door. I think it's called Zor, Zoar.
Mm.
It's small, and I'll be all right there. And they said, okay, fine. Take your family and go.
Just get
Flee
outta
and
here.
don't look back.
Mm.
Then God rains down burning sulfur.
So you
On
think that's
Sodom.
like meteorites or what is it? Meteors, meteorites, asteroids, all the same thing, but there's like special names
Different
for.
sizes. A meteor is big. A meteorite is a piece of a meteor that's smaller.
You think that was?
An asteroid is like a
I think
planet, I think.
Well, I think asteroids and meteors are the same. One of them is just in the Earth's atmosphere. I think that's meteor. So I think it's an asteroid until it comes in it. I could be wrong.
Oh, so asteroid is just free floating in space until
so.
it hits our atmosphere and then it becomes a meteor?
I think it's something like that.
Science.
I don't know.
Look it up, kids.
Do you
Science.
think that's what it is? The sulfur and fire?
I don't know, but it doesn't sound cool.
No.
I mean, it sounds cool to like visualize happening, but so fire.
I'd pay to see it.
God rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah.
Mm-hmm.
But could you imagine like how bad that would stink? Like you're getting rained on by fire, like burning sulfur. There's no like, what kind of umbrella would you have to make?
There's these
to
fires
repel
in
that?
Table Rock. It was like.
Oh, I know.
Did you ever have like smoky stuff over here? Yeah. I think it jacked
Not
me
from
up.
Table Rock, but I've had it like from previous fires. we've
No,
been close to.
Table Rock from where I am.
Yeah.
There was like one day, I want to say it was like Wednesday. It was pretty smoky. You could definitely taste it, smell it. It was odd. Yeah, it messed with my head. I think I got like headaches and stuff from it too.
And for the listeners, Table
great.
Rock is not in the Bible. It is here
Correct.
in South Carolina.
Correct.
It's a really nice place too. So
Yeah.
hopefully they get
Thankfully, it's raining today, and I think it will help.
that. And tomorrow.
Yes.
So that will help.
And a couple
for
more
sure.
times, a couple days away.
But what kind of umbrella would you need to have to repel
To repel God's
Burning-
destruction.
burning sulfur? Like, could you imagine people with like straw umbrellas trying to like?
Yeah,
Just
when you
burning right
have an
through.
umbrella and it rains, you still get wet. Like there's still sprinkles. There's gonna be sprinkles of fire. There's nothing. You can't. You're done.
And
That was suck,
dude, do you know
man.
how bad it would smell too?
For a lot.
No, sulfur.
For the people that are dead.
Just that area getting rained with sulfur.
Just,
The people that are dead, no.
does it smell
smells-
if no one's there to smell it?
They smell it initially.
Do you?
You're not gonna get hit by every. It's not like they were like laser.
Look
guns.
out! Oh man, that smells.
Ah, that stinks. Ah! But sulfur stinks. Like it is a very, very.
Is it? So we're imagining like pieces. Is it, or it's just like complete fire?
I'm imagining like
It's probably. It says raining, right?
it says
like-
yeah, but I'm thinking like marble to golf ball sized chunks of burning sulfur.
Really? I'm thinking.
You're thinking like basketball.
I'm thinking, yeah.
Like cannonballs.
Maybe even a couple bigger, honestly.
Really, beach balls.
Just leveling, yeah.
A beach ball, a flaming sulfur beach ball.
I think bigger. A couple of them.
Oh, bro, there's no umbrella. There's no umbrella.
Yeah, I don't think there's either. Yeah, I think they're done for.
And you can't hide in your house.
It's way too much weight and force, no matter what you're holding. Like you're
like
in the ground.
Yeah. Like, where would that come from, though? There's no, like, there was supposed to be water above us.
Yeah, not anymore.
In the sky. Now there's burning sulfur? Like, that's why the power that God has is crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So, it would, basically, the whole town got devastated, but
thankfully Lot, his sisters and his wife, they're good. They got out.
Almost.
What happened to the sisters?
So Lot, not his sisters, his daughters, bro.
Correct. Sorry.
His sisters.
I forgot they weren't that close.
No, they were distant sisters. No, Lot and his daughters and his wife were fleeing. The angel told them, "Don't look back." Lot's wife,
who was behind him for some reason,
decided to be an Eve.
My question is, why is she behind him? You think I'm gonna let my wife behind? Like, go.
What if? How do you know she was behind him?
It says so.
Does it? I don't think it does.
It does.
I don't know. Verse 26. No, but Lot's wife looked back and she became a pillar of salt.
Oh, yeah. So my verse says,
oh, here we go.
But Lot's wife, behind him, looked back and she became a pillar of salt.
Hold on, let me check my subtext indexes. Titles, is there a little...
I don't know why.
No, there's no index. Yeah. Darn. What do you have? What
English Standard.
That's English Standard?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you had the Holman Christian.
I do at home.
Okay, but that's English Standard? The ESV, I like the ESV.
And I read this one for these last one and this one to try and be on a same word base.
I do like the ESV.
You can read it, the commas and everything. To me, it says
you.
Lot's wife behind him looked back. Looked back behind him, but the wife is the one that's behind him.
Yeah, well, she looked back when the angel told her not to, turned into a pillar of salt. You know what sucks? Here's the thing. Lot has no idea his wife is a pillar of salt because he can't look back. Could you imagine? Specifically, she's behind him, so he's... Come on, let's go.
They get to Zoar.
They get to Zoar, and he's like, oh, we made it.
Wait. We didn't make it. That's crazy.
Where's Milka? I think that was her name.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
And the daughters are like, she was right here. I don't know.
I wonder how old she was. Is that why she was behind him? She was just slow. Couldn't
no,
run.
but I mean, I don't know. Physically,
then I was like, oh, maybe the daughters were behind her.
Generally, men can outrun women. Generally, not all the time, but in biblical days, the men were out working and fighting and doing all that stuff. The women were taking care of the house. So I would think Lot would be able to outrun his wife.
I'd be picking her up and like...
Right? If they had him by the hand.
Look this way.
Well, the angels had them by the hands.
At least initially. I don't know if it was the whole time.
So do you think like while he was running, she turned into salt and he was just like... And then he's just like, he's running, he's got like salt in his hand?
What kind of salt? Is this like super like...
And then Lot is like, oh yeah, we made it. Where's my wife? And he's like, here.
Yeah.
Salt.
Where do you think the daughters are running? Like, what if they were behind the mom, and then they salt, and then they run through their mom on accident?
Poof! Just a big salt plume.
That'd suck.
Bro, that'd be terrible.
Yeah, that'd be...
But again, like, I love putting myself in the shoes of the people that were there, because it's crazy to think about. Like, from the daughter's perspective, from Lot's perspective. Obviously not from the wife's perspective, because she's salt right now.
Yeah.
But it just blows my mind.
Yeah.
So, do you think like after everything's settled, like Sodom and Gomorrah are completely destroyed, Lot and his daughters are in Zoar, do you think they would like go out to where his wife was when they needed
like
salt? When they needed salt for dinner?
No.
She was like the pillar that they went and got salt from when they needed seasoning.
Not at all. No. But in fact, I think we know that he ends up in a cave, and they're like,
yes. So
they go to the hill. The crazy thing is,
dude,
the angels say.
I wonder if you pick up what I picked up.
The angels say, "Go to the hills." He says, "No, I want to go to the city." He goes to the city. He's like afraid or something. He's like, "I guess I'm gonna go to the hills now."
Yes. Okay, so you did get that.
Yeah. Like, why do you go there in the first place,
dude? I don't get it. But before that, after Lot gets to Zoar and all that stuff, and the towns are destroyed, his wife turns to salt. It says in verse 27, Abraham rose the next morning and looked at Sodom and Gomorrah.
You can see.
But he was fine. He didn't turn into salt. So what was the statute of limitations? Was
like
it
how
based
far
on
away you could be?
Was it based on distance or time? Because was it
I think time, like while it was happening.
Was it like don't look back while this is being destroyed, or don't look back within a couple hundred yards, or don't look back for the next 4 hours? Because it says Abraham the very next morning looked at it and just saw the plumes of smoke and it was burning.
I would think it's while it's happening.
You think so?
Well, because then from afar, if you're looking at that, you're not going to turn into a pillar of salt. So it's while it's happening while they're there.
Do you think other people who were like spectating turned into salt?
Yeah.
You think so?
Because I think they were probably close enough in that area to where they're getting destroyed too.
But the people in the town didn't turn to salt. They were just...
They could have.
They were just burned and crushed.
Yeah. They could have turned salt.
So there had to be like, okay, so this is getting fire. In this ring, if you look at it, you're turning to salt. Outside of that...
And everyone in that ring is going to look, by the way. Unless you're not told, yeah.
Who would? That's like lighting off fireworks in the field and expecting nobody to look.
What is that? Don't look. They don't know not to look.
No, bro. Yeah. There's probably so much salt.
It's that range of wickedness, wherever that ring is. It's got to be, right?
It has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a range of wickedness while it happens. Got to be. So they were within that, yeah. So they were still in that range, and it was happening, and it's got to be.
But that really stinks for Lot, like to get there and think he's safe.
Yeah.
But
he's got his daughters.
He hesitated, though. Why would he hesitate to leave? Like that right there is just stupidity.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, after that...
He goes to the hills after...
Yeah, and I had a couple of notes. Yeah, we kind of already covered it, but... Like, do you think Lot knew that the only reason he was saved was because of Abraham? Mm-hmm. Or do you think he was really saved because of Abraham?
Partially.
Because Abraham didn't...
Yeah.
He did mention that Lot was over there, but... He only bartered for 10 people, and there was definitely not 10 people.
Probably not even one.
You think it was coincidence?
No.
I don't know. But then in in verse 30, it goes into Lot and his daughters.
So at least he has them to comfort him and for his wife. He's
not alone. Yeah. We'll say that.
Poor choice of words, probably.
So Lot and his 2 daughters.
Yeah.
Like you said, this is just so tough.
Yeah.
Again, if you're just tuning in, listener discretion is advised.
Can people tune in the middle? I guess they can. Like, I'm going to click this one. I'm just going to guess around this. I just want to start around here.
If this happens to be one of the snips that you that you see on TikTok or anything else, just caution. So,
It's crazy.
like you said, the angels told Lot initially, flee to the mountains. Lot's like, no, I want to go to Zoar. Then in verse 30, it says, Lot and his 2 daughters left Zoar and settled in the mountains, for he was afraid to stay in Zoar. And him and his 2 daughters lived in a cave.
What's happening in Zoar?
Well, so if you just listened to the angels in the first place,
Just cut out
we
that.
probably could have cut out that whole trip to Zoar.
Yeah.
Which took him all night, by the way. Because the angel said, we can't destroy this until you get there, so we're going to wait. And then, yeah, so he'd made a long trip for nothing.
Yeah.
But anyway, him and his daughters, oy, they're in this
They're
cave.
so heartbroken that...
They're in this cave, and guess what? His daughters don't have fiancés anymore.
Yeah, they're just...
Because they were killed by flaming balls of sulfur when they stayed in Sodom and didn't believe Lot.
Yeah.
So now, this is kind of Lot's fault.
Is it? I mean, is it?
No, it's not, actually. I can't back that up.
Yeah.
Because Lot told them to come, but he didn't force them.
Yeah.
He just gave them the... Maybe he didn't like them. He was like, hey, you know, I have to tell you, but... You know, if you don't want to come, that's fine. If you don't believe me, cool, whatever. We're out. So... Oh, God, this is hard to say. So, Lot's daughters are in this cave, and the older one says to the younger one, we don't have any men around to give us children.
And we know women want babies.
That is the number one thing back then.
Give
That's
me
the only
babies.
thing they want. They don't care how or who or where or when or
It's
why.
true. Yeah. Give me
So-
babies. Give me babies.
So the older one plots with the younger one to get Lot drunk. They get him hammered drunk to the point where apparently he's dead, because I don't know how else you could be. But the older daughter, they get him drunk. The older daughter goes in and sleeps with him. And it says he didn't know that she arrived, and he didn't know when she got up and left. So, yeah, one day the older daughter said to the younger, our father is old, and there is no man around here to lie with us, as is custom all over the earth. So that was like the custom, like somebody
Make
needs to give us
babies.
a baby.
Yeah.
Let's get our father to drink wine and then lie with him and preserve our family line through our father. That night, they got their father to drink wine. The older daughter went in and lay with him. He was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. I have two questions come to mind there. One, how drunk do you really have to be
I don't know.
to not have any idea at all that this is happening? Like, biblical drunk is like God level drunk.
God, no. Oh,
There's, I can't even fathom. Like, you have to be
I have no
dead.
idea.
Which leads me to question 2.
Like, I have certain personal experiences, but nothing, I can't. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Well, question 2, how can he perform
He doesn't.
on that well, his functioning,
Things happen, yeah.
his on an unconscious level. Obviously, he's unconscious. His body is still functioning
Yeah.
to the point where
It
like,
works. They're pregnant.
it works.
Yeah. I don't know.
So I don't understand that. But whatever, right? Okay. The
For some
older
reason, I
daughter-
didn't even think about that. What I mainly thought of was like, I'm picturing they're in a cave. It's already awkward.
You're probably picturing how dark it is.
It's dark. It's
Like
echoing.
the ark. There were no windows in the cave.
I'm imagining the other daughter waiting around. It's already awkward that they have this plan. And there's all these echoes.
I don't think
That's
I
weird.
don't think this was like some sort of pleasure cruise, bro. I think this was a get in, get what you need, and get out kind of situation.
Maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe.
I don't think it was like. I don't think it
I
was,
have no
it was
idea.
a long, drawn out process. So,
I don't know what to say.
this is a tough conversation, but hey, we're having it.
I would imagine if he's knocked out, it's gonna take a little time.
It might, but I mean, you also don't want to be in there when he wakes up. I don't think it was supposed to be like a long thing. So, the older daughter goes in, sleeps with him. He has no idea.
Was it the next night?
The next day,
Yeah.
verse 34, the older daughter said to the younger, "Last night I lay with my father. Let's get him to drink wine again tonight, and you go in and lie with him so we can preserve our family line through our father." So they got their father to drink wine that night also, and the younger daughter went and lay with him.
Where are they getting this wine from?
And again, he was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. Verse 36, so both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father.
That's crazy.
That is insane, especially on the first try. Like,
yes, on both of them.
It was so easy for people to get pregnant back then. What happened? Like now, it's a lot more difficult to have kids. You got people trying to pay doctors to help them have kids, and these people are like, it's almost like a guarantee.
Easy. Yeah. Maybe things don't even have to work.
To preserve the family line, it's hard to wrap my head around, bro.
Yeah. And so, again, this is going back to like similarities. Do you think there's anything there with some of these similarities? Like Noah gets drunk after the destruction, he gets off.
Well, thankfully Noah had sons.
Yeah. And a wife. He actually had a wife.
He had a wife, yeah.
Yeah. I think we actually mentioned that. We're like, 7 people. We forgot about his wife.
Oh, he had his wife and his sons and their wives.
Yeah.
So there were other women,
yeah,
but they already had dudes,
yeah,
so it wasn't a big deal.
But you think there's anything there with these similarities? There's got to be, right? Something.
I don't know.
Because it's right after the flood, Noah's drunk. Right after the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot's drunk. It's crazy.
Yeah, where do they get all this wine from?
He's in a freaking cave. I'm like...
How much wine do you have to bring up to the cave to get frat house drunk?
What kind of cave is this? Frat house drunk.
Like, it's insane.
And why would he do that? He's like, oh yeah, last night was great. I don't remember a thing. I'm going to do it again. I don't understand.
He must have been so hungover.
Are there hangovers? I don't understand. I don't know.
Wine hangovers are the worst from what I hear.
I have no idea.
Allegedly.
I don't know.
They're pretty rough.
How much wine do you have to drink? I'll just say it. I kind of like wine.
To be that level of unconscious drunk.
And like everyone has different...
You are not going to feel good the next day.
Well, there's like different tolerances too.
And then to do it again?
Yeah. There's people that drink and don't even get near that. And then they have this massive headache the next day.
I guess if you live in a cave, there's not a whole lot going on.
No, not at all.
But then how awkward is it when Lot sees his daughter's pregnant and he's like,
He goes, they go to town to get more wine.
There's only 3 of us in the cave. Wait a second.
Does he ever know? Oh, I didn't even think about that.
It doesn't say.
He could think it's the fiancés. It's like all those wicked fiancés did stuff to her before they left. They weren't even married. How dare they? I was going to let them have... I know they have sex with guys, but...
Well, he said his daughters who have not slept with anybody before.
Yeah. So now he just thinks they're liars.
Do you think they confessed to him? Yeah, Dad.
This is what we did. They had
since our fiancés burned to death in Sodom, we decided to preserve our family line through you.
Yeah. Someone has to tell someone in order to get the story together. How does the story come together? The daughters
must have cooked up something that they would. I don't think they would ever confess that, because I would think that would be shameful. Ham saw Noah naked and he
shame
blew his freaking top.
Yeah.
Imagine this.
Shame. Dude, there's got to be similarities there, and they got to mean something we don't realize. which is interesting, but I don't know it. Yeah.
All I know.
Wait, I thought we were talking about Abraham.
Well, this kind of goes into it, right? But think about this, though.
Oh, man.
So Lot's Abraham's nephew, so it's in the family line.
Yeah.
But now,
Kind of all of Genesis is in the family line.
now Lot's daughters both have sons, and their dad is their granddad.
And dad.
Dad is their granddad.
Yeah.
Dad.
Granddad.
Dad.
Granddad, dad. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Sabrina and I were talking the other day, and I don't know how I mentioned the term mom dad.
What does that
Or
mean?
dad mom?
What is that?
Dad mom.
What kind of term is that?
I don't know why, but it made
about?
us laugh so hard. We could not figure out what that would mean, like dad mom. And I'm
You
like,
just came up with that on your own?
yeah, we have dumb conversations.
Why would you come up with that?
I don't remember. It's probably all this
Dad
biblical, weird family lineage stuff. But I called her a dad mom just like out of the blue, just for fun. It was like one of those random things. Like, yeah, you're a dad mom. And then we just like paused for a second, and then we started cracking up. And then we're like,
I could see
what is
where...
a dad mom? We're like, wait, hold on, a dad mom would be a grandmother, I think. Right? A dad mom. We're digressing, but this we were cracking up, and
I don't know.
But that's what that made me think of now is like, now your dad is your grandfather, your dad.
Yeah. It's wild.
How do you explain that? Like, how would you feel if you knew your dad was your grandfather? Would that bother you?
Yeah.
No hesitation at all.
Yeah, I would not like my granddad, both of them.
I would not like my mom.
Yeah, but because they were the ones. Yeah, but I mean, I guess at the same time, you could also argue maybe Lot shouldn't have got that drunk. Maybe he should have not been that dumb.
That's why you shouldn't get drunk.
Yeah.
That's why I don't drink.
Yeah.
You gotta stay sober and vigilant, bro.
Yeah.
So,
It's crazy.
Lot's daughters have sons. They go and make more babies.
It's like Moab and some other name.
Moving on. Back to Abraham.
Back to Abraham. Okay.
See you next Sunday. Stay tuned. Follow our podcast. Like and subscribe. Start them while they're young.
Pretty good.
Yeah.